I think I've been around doing this work for so long that I will get a little bored if I were just doing the basics.
Yeah.
So where I like to play and the issues that seem to surface for me and with leaders, I call them undiscussable. And the fact that they're undiscussable is so it might be what I think but don't say, or what I say but I don't mean, or to the work that you're doing, what I'm doing but I'm not aware of.
Oh, yeah.
And then if no one tells me that, or somehow I'm not able to reflect and find it out myself, those undiscussables clog up the communication system. They pile on, they pile up. And so how do you make communication flow easily? That's the area that I think is really needed. The other type of work, communications, the fun, team building, all of that, that's great.
Yeah.
The nuance, the hard part is discussing undiscussed.
Yeah. I mean, that is such an interesting point. How do you differentiate? Like, do you think, because it sounds like some of those undiscussables are blind spots, right? Like if you're not even aware of maybe some of the way you might be showing up, or that you said one thing, but you actually meant another thing, right? Like there's a little bit of like a blind spot nature to that.
Well, here's how I address it. I can think of a leader. I was in his meeting. We were walking out and he said, and the meeting was a little chaotic. One was talking over each other. And he said to me afterwards, "Did you see what babies they are? This is it. I'm not a leader. I'm a babysitter." And he was venting.
Yeah.
And I said to him, "Well, why don't you tell them how you feel?" And his response back to me was, "Well, I can't tell them how I feel because if I tell them how they feel, then they'll shut up and they won't say anything." And I said back to him, "Then why don't you tell them that too?"
Right.
And that's the difference. He didn't realize he was withholding information, thinking that they're not strong enough to hear it. And I said, if you tell them why you're tempted to withhold it because of these reasons, you're sharing that. Because he says he wants to be an authentic leader and he's piling and hiding all this luggage.
And that's got to be the backbone to so much of this withholding of more honest, maybe harsher information, right? Is there's a lack of trust in the other side being able to handle it.
Rachel, think about someone you love. And someone you love, you would talk to them in a way you wouldn't withhold this because you care so much about them succeeding and thriving in the work that they're doing, that they're able to make a difference and evolve the work that they're doing. It has a ripple effect. My work is living system. So I know, for instance, I'm a living system. Together, you and I are a living social system. We live in families, community. So it's this interaction of living systems. And if I really care about you, I'm going to share this information because I care and love you. And if leaders and teammates thought the same way, instead of they put on a mask, I'm professional, they have the right stuff or they don't, black and white thinking in my mind. So if they really truly care, they will go over get over the uncomfort, the discomfort of sharing that information because they're sharing it with the purpose of helping to evolve their beloved people, places, or causes.
Right, absolutely. And if you have that strong, powerful purpose and why, it becomes a lot easier to show up in that way, right?
Absolutely. And so that's a lot of what I keep working on with leaders is like, okay, in January, you talked about your strategic direction. How about every meeting? Why are we here? Let's keep the customer in mind, or the patient who's going to be receiving our medicine or devices. Keep them in mind. Now let's have that conversation.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.